I'm gonna grab my angle grinder, and since I got so many comments about wearing your protective gear, and I get it, I appreciate you guys looking out for me. I don't have a face mask because I broke mine and I haven't bought another one because safety is always my #1 concern. So we're gonna improvise today, but moral of the story, wear your PPE, guys, especially you younger guys. You can't hear boobies. So let's get to cutting this, okay? Welcome back, everybody. So we're getting back to our race truck footage. So Karma needs to get some things done, and I tried something new. We made a list, and on that list it gives me my itinerary for the day and how long these items should take. So I have plotted out roughly 9 hours of work for today, which is Saturday, and I have about 7 hours of work tomorrow, which is going to be on HAVOC, the new shop truck build. So we got a mixture. We're going to be going back and forth. We're going to be going between Karma and HAVOC, knocking out punch list items and getting a bunch of cool shit done on them. We got to get the cab off and Raptor line the floor and put some things away on Karma. This way that can dry and we can get to work on getting it all put back together so we can get it to the cage. Then the fun stuff begins. We are going to tear HAVOC apart and start putting on some cool parts. All right, let's get to it. Time lapse time. We got everything organized. Chassis over there. We got our cab set on the jack stands. Now I got to finish up this, which I kind of forgot about. But I want to cut this side back. We got our center mark here. I want this space nice and even. OCD. It is what it is. Some of you understand. So we got this side already all taken care of. The edges are radius, so nothing sharp here. That looks great. Over here, we need to cut this back to this new line right there. Not that one, that one. And bring that down, and then we can clean all the edges up on this, and then we can make our filler panel to fit once and for all. So I'm gonna grab my angle grinder. Let's get to cutting this, okay? All right, here's a patch panel I made previously. I don't know if it's still gonna work or not, but we're gonna test fit it. And I think it might. I think it actually might. I kind of like the way it sits. It's certainly gonna be a tricky one for me because, like I said, I'm a grinder, not a welder. And there ain't a lot of material you can grind on this. But that's kind of what she's gonna look like. I gotta just figure out the exact positioning. And then I'm gonna make a filler piece for here and a filler piece for there. At least that's the plan, unless I get frustrated and just cut the whole firewall out. But hopefully that doesn't happen. All right, I think we got this all set up. I got this panel here, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna tack this lower corner here and then tack it right there, then come up and set this side where I want it and tack this corner and then run tacks all the way down. This way I can keep that panel nice and tight so it fits nice and flush. Gives us a nice radius, and then afterwards I can come back in and we'll fill all the welds in, get a nice bead across there. This spot right here I'll probably make a little piece for, and then we can grind this whole thing smooth. And then like this little gap here, I'm probably gonna fill these corners with some reinforced fiber bondo, or might actually just use 3M body panel adhesive because it sands really nice and it's super strong. So let's get to tacking. We'll see how this comes out, and then we can make our side pieces. Hopefully. I don't know. Like I said, I don't even know if I have the welder set up right, but I guess we're gonna find out together, huh? You don't learn unless you do it. So can you guys see? Where do you wanna be? You can't be in my way though. But maybe something like this, because I don't think this is gonna go well, but we're gonna try. All right, we got a nice tight fit across the top. We got some tacks down in that bottom corner, and then I laid a big tack right in there, which we're gonna fill in. All right, time lapse time. Let's do it. We got it all tacked in. I still have some more welds to do, but like I said, I'm not really good at this, so I'm gonna grind that all relatively smooth, not perfect, and then see where all my holes are. I'll tack those in, we'll get that figured out, and then we'll start figuring out our side pieces, get those made, do some CAD, cardboard aided design, trace them out, cut them out of some metal, and see if we can't burn those in too. I'm super happy with that, guys. This is coming out really good. Nice and square. Everything looks good. We haven't burned no holes and nothing. It's crazy. This is ludicrous. All right, maybe I'll do a little fast forward for you guys while I tack all this in and try to make it look nice. And then we can grind everything down nice and smooth. That's acceptable when you're doing this sheet metal work. You tack it in, you grind it smooth, you make it look nice. So maybe some Bondo, or like I said, we might use some panel bond and fill in this gap, because it'll help stick this bottom piece to the firewall also and make it look pretty. Everybody, we got everything all welded up. This is what my final product looks like welding wise. I'm not even going to worry about getting too close in there. I just knocked a little bit of the snot off of it. I made a little filler corner piece and welded that in. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with that and how that all came out. And now I'm going to come back in there. I'm going to hit that with some panel bond. Use it like caulk. Squirt it in all the joints. Let it harden up. We'll come back, we'll sand it down. Probably have to do 2 or 3 coats to get all the little pinholes and get everything nice and smooth, but that's how I did it. Final product. I figured I'd show you the ugly before I show you the final product and how it's gonna look before paint. But it ain't perfect, I'm just learning. This is probably my 6th or 7th time picking up the welder now. And we just keep building more stuff and learning new tricks. It's the only way to do it. All right, I'll show you this one when the final product is done. All right, while that first coat of panel bond's on, I wanted to show you guys the underside of this thing. Real quick, how clean this is. Literally like no leaks anywhere. All the heat shields are in great shape even. Stickers are still on. Look, sticker's still on the drive shaft. Still tape on a leaf spring. No leaks on the axle. Brakes, none of it. It's all in great shape. Still got tags hanging on the wires. Heat shield still on the exhaust. Just such a clean truck. I still had remnants of the sticker even on the axle. All right, we're gonna drop this thing on the ground and we're gonna take a measurement of its current ride height. And then we can measure it again when we lower it. See if we actually get our 3-inch front and 4-inch rear drop. All right, we got our tape measure. We're gonna go center of wheel straight up. We have 32 and a half, 32 and a half from ground to bottom of fender. Passenger side is also 32 and a half. That's odd. That usually never happens. Usually there's a big driver's side lean. So we got 32 and a half in the front, and the rear is 34 and 5/8, 34 even. So we have a little driver lean on the rear side. About a 1/2 inch, 5/8 driver side lean in the rear. So we got 32 and a half, 34 and a half, so roughly a 2-inch rake. We're gonna be bringing that down 1 inch, so we should still have almost an inch of rake with the new ride height. But we'll get her back up in the air and start taking the tires and wheels off this thing.
Yeah. You swipe left on my heart like a tie that. 2-step verification, but you knew the trap. Said I need space, but your timeline's packed. Our flame died quicker than a birthday snap. Your lips dripped honey with a cyanide twist. Canceled out plans like a streaming service missed. We were Wi-Fi strong, but you switched to 5G speed. Let me buffering in your cloud of deceit. Got me like spam mail, lovers was on sale, you changed the password. Now I'm locked out the phone. Bad love, you just damn mad. Subtract the trace, set the lies back. Yeah. Bad love, I was attacked. Your kisses got my way.
All right, we got HAVOC up on the lift, tires and wheels off. We took our first measurements, a stock ride height. Now, we got some boxes. This is the DJM 3/4 drop. Let's get it unpackaged. Boom. There they are. All those boxes. This little bit of stuff. So what we have here is a DJM 3/4 drop, and the lowering portion of the front is built into these lower control arms. So instead of this ball joint sitting up here, like on the factory arm, it's 3 inches lower. So you don't need lowering springs, you don't need shorter or longer shocks or anything like that. You take all the factory stuff, you bolt it into here, and you have a 3-inch drop. Now this should lead to much better wheel travel and a much better ride quality. We're gonna put that to the test. Something to note, in the earlier years when this was first released, some people were complaining about their welds cracking. I reached out to DJM when I was considering these, and they said that that was rectified and it was blah blah, some issues they had. So supposedly it's a lot better, and I will say the welds on this are massive. They're not the prettiest, but they appear to be very well burned in. So we have our instructions. We have tapered 4-inch blocks for the rear, new U-bolts, and proper length shocks for the rear. We don't need new shocks for the front. That's another story. We're gonna be doing coilovers in this, but that is stage 2. For right now, we're just trying to establish the ride height we want, get close to it so we can get our wheel fitment 100%, but there's more. We also have brand new hub wheel bearing assemblies and brand new upper and lower ball joints, because I don't know how long ago those were replaced, and I don't feel like taking all this apart again if I don't have to. So we are gonna just put all new stuff in. The cost on this stuff is relatively minimal, is probably a few $100s for the hubs and ball joints brand new. So it's cheap insurance to just do it right the first time. So we have our control arms now, we have our wheel bearings and hubs, we have our ball joints. I also have new power stop brakes for the front of this, nothing fancy, and we're gonna start ripping this thing apart. But first, there's a couple other things I wanna do. I wanna get this valance off, I wanna get the exhaust off, and a couple other miscellaneous things around the way. So we're gonna strip some things, then I'm probably gonna take my wife out for lunch, and then we'll get to ripping the front end apart and see what we're dealing with in there, because I don't even know. Yes, it does. All right. Voila. Now that is an actual good catalytic converter. That is what we call more money for the budget, because we can sell that. And if crackheads can sell them sawzalled off, so can I. At least I own mine. All right, what else got to come off of this thing while we're working on it? Maybe, should we take the rear bumper off? Here's the bolts. I don't know if that, I think they're welded on. I'm not positive though. But we could probably take that bumper off, undo the wiring, get that out of there. I think it's just a license plate, and that should be it, because there's no trailer brake set up on this. We're gonna have to do that though. I need trailer lights, because we're gonna tow stuff with this thing. This is a shop truck. All right, we got everything done out back that we needed to get done. Now we gotta start taking this apart. We'll get the brake caliper off here quick. Get that done. Then we'll hang that up on the frame somewhere out of the way. Then we got to disconnect this wheel speed sensor from the hub. And then we can start unbolting this thing. So I don't know if you watched my last video or not, but I gave a rundown of what we're doing with this thing. And we're gonna do the build in phases. So stage 1 or phase 1, whatever you wanna call it, we're gonna do this 3/4 drop and maintenance, which will be like the wheel bearings, the hubs, the ball joints. We'll get this thing sitting at its new ride height, which might change, but it's a good baseline. 3/4 drop, I feel, is low enough to look good. It'll handle good. It should still ride good, even with these stock shocks up front, which are definitely getting replaced in phase 2. But for phase 1, like I said, we're gonna do all the maintenance up front, suspension front and rear, and get it sitting on its weight. Oh, its pads and rotors are brand new, that's for sure. I just got one of these rubber coated twist ties, and I'm just gonna take and stick it up here in the frame so it takes some of the weight off of it. Let's see if it should hold. Good enough for now. All right, we got the last bolt to take out, the 4 holding this hub assembly on that I see. And I'm guessing this thing should come out now that we have that off. Maybe not. I am so perplexed. I do think I understand how it goes together now. But I think this is just seized on there, so we gotta tap it out. Let's see if I can give it a couple whacks. Maybe not. Well, I'm still beating on this thing, and I'm pretty sure it's just really seized in there. And it's not making me happy. So we're gonna just keep beating on it, I suppose. Don't really know what else to do, because it's moving, just very slowly. There it goes. Haha. All right, let's see if I can get this thing out of here now. There it is. It was just rusted in there. Really good. All right, now I understand. The rotor slides over the back of the hub, then the hub bolts here, and then you bolt through the hub into the rotor. So it's a reverse back asswards design. That's what I'm getting from it. Anyways, here we are. Look, we're getting there. So, yes, Mamu. What's up, shop manager? I know, we got it off finally. I know, it took me too long, my boy. What? He's cranky today. You cranky boy? Boop. All right. So, I'm pretty sure we should be able to unbolt this lower control arm and the upper control arm. We might have to move the sway bar out of the way. We can unbolt the shock. Leave the shock in up top though. It's not going anywhere. So up there, it can stay. You see the light? Oh my goodness. All right, we can actually leave this attached too if we wanted to, but I think I'm gonna fall down the rabbit hole a little bit, and I'm gonna pull the whole spindle off from everything and then sand the whole thing down and prime and paint it. Rabbit hole. So we gotta pop cotter pin out here. Well, and hopefully this comes out because that's pretty rusty right there. And then we will disconnect the sway bar from the lower link, because this one I'll have to go in the new control arm. That one can stay hooked up and it'll be out of the way. And that'll give us access to the upper control arm ball joint also, which we could also just unbolt from the top and do all that on the floor. But this one I'm going to try and do while it's on there. Game plan. Let's do it. All right, lower control arm should be this guy here. Let's see here. Will that come off? Not a problem. Nice and easy. That is wonderful. Now, we're just gonna jump all over the place on these things. Let's pull the ball joint off the lower control arm. Now we're gonna need a wrench. Actually, you know what? We might be able to just throw another, I'll go get a wrench. What is this? 18 millimeter, guys, we gotta get it. What up, Chancy Pants? My moose. 18, where are you? Going once, going twice. That's a 20. Got it. We got it, buddy. All right, let's do this. 18s. That's one. Pretty sure we got new bolts with the new ball joints, but we're gonna hang on to those for the time being. Plus, they're good bolts. Never know when you need them. Last one. Got it. All right, lower control arm is free. Now that should slide out of there. We need to get the shock undone, and we need to get that guy undone, the sway bar. What size is that one gonna be? Probably something like this guy here. What is this, 14? Maybe? No, 15. She's a 15. Yep, that's the one. All right, 15 millimeter. Going once, going twice. So, to the swivel extension. Oh, where are you spinning? You gonna be like that? Hopefully I can grab a hold of that with a pair of pliers. Where are my pliers? I know I had them out. There they are. Any of you guys as bad at that as me? You never know where you put your stuff. It drives me nuts. Not getting it that way. So I might have to just do it the way we're supposed to do it. And I don't want to. Get a wrench on it. Fine. Go on there? Nope, of course not. All right. Let me go get ice hole grips and a wrench. What size was it? 15 millimeter now. Oh, for the love of God, get off. I live my life a 64th turn of a wrench at a time. Ah, cramp. That wasn't pleasant. God dang. I'm okay, buddy. Hi, my boy. I'm okay. We gotta be getting close now, everybody. We are in the home stretch. Let's see. Well, what was probably 30 seconds for you is 8 minutes for me fighting with this bolt, and it's still not off. In God's name is going on here with this cursed hell of a bolt. And people wonder why I just take the sway bars off of most of my vehicles. There it goes. For the love of God, help me. Give me the strength to not lose my absolute shit. Wonderful. How's everybody doing today, by the way? Let's get this off. Pull this cotter pin out. Much better now, by the way. If you can't tell, much better spirits. All right, got it. We'll put this over here for now. And let's see if we can bust that bolt off of there. What size is that? That's a 18 again? 21. 21. Does not want to move. Maybe we should squirt some stuff in there. I'm gonna go get some WD. We still haven't went and got penetrating fluid. Put the big guy on it, see if it cracks it loose. There it goes. This thing is an absolute monster. What model is this? It's the DCF 961. I think it's the strongest one DeWalt makes. I don't know how many foot-pounds it is. It's pretty ridiculous though. Let's see if we can get that ball joint to pop loose. Pop this nut back on there, like so. Put some more stuff down in there. There it goes. I didn't want to hammer one of the fork tools in there because they usually end up messing up the boot, and I didn't buy new rods yet, so I don't want to tear that boot because it's actually in pretty good shape. The steering I'm not replacing at the moment, only this stuff. Now, that guy's all pretty good there. Okay. Let's see, get that upper. Maybe we'll do the sway bar on the other side real quick. Oh, you take the shock out next? Yeah, I'm all over the place, guys. Don't mind me. Okay, okay. All right, bolt is out. Now this might be under some tension, but it shouldn't be much if it is. So we'll just be careful. There it goes. Not bad, just a little bit. All right, we got our shock bolt here. Set that right there. Now, this might come out. There it is. All right, now, we might be able to get to that. See if we can shock that thing loose, or we say, screw it, and we just take the upper off, which I think we're gonna do. I think that's the route to go. Let's lower this thing down. See, now you got these 4 bolts that hold the whole upper ball joint assembly in. And then we can take the whole spindle assembly and then remove the upper ball joint and then go clean this thing up. Oh, and remove the lower ball joint. What size are those? They look tiny. Tiny Tim. Another oddball. Hi, Mo. How's my boy? So the bolt is 12 and the nut is 13. Lovely. Love that. Ow. Don't put your finger in the middle of two hard metal objects. 3. Can we get this in there? Putting it on a wrench. I give up. Oh, this is so gonna fall right on my foot. Oh, thank gosh. There it goes. All right, that's done. Now, get this bolt out. We gotta get the ball joints out of that so we can just smack them with the hammer and drive them out because we got new ones. Next, I think we'll go back up in the air and we'll get the lower control arm unbolted and out. Now, what size is that one? We got a 21 here. 21 fits there, so we need a 21 deep, 21 shallow. Only downfalls, this weighs like 20 pounds. Right? Oh, I see what's going on. We gotta just tap that out, like that. Now I get it. Now I see. Well, that was easy. And those things are keyed in there, and there's little tabs right here for the indexing. Not a bad idea. Cool. Well, that one goes in the front. Now we'll pop that back one out. Oh, where did 21 go? There it is. All right. Oh, with the old and with the new. We're gonna do some cleanup in here first. All right. I'm gonna take a minute. I'm gonna spray all this stuff down with brake clean, wipe everything down, get it all cleaned up, maybe throw some paint up on here, get it looking a little better, clean up that spindle. Just gonna hit it with the wire wheel, some flap discs, get a coat of primer on it. So I will bring you guys back after all that because that's silly to record. No one wants to watch that for 20 minutes. Bye. There's our spindle all cleaned up. Getting pretty late tonight already. I am going to go edit some footage for you guys, but got everything sanded and painted under here. Just one coat right now. I'll probably hit it with a second coat, but it's looking good. And then up moose over here. This stuff takes a little while to set up completely, but as you can see, we got all this laid in, and once this fully hardens, see it's still a little tacky. It's hardening, but it's still a little tacky. So I'll have to wait till tomorrow, but we'll get in here, we'll get all this sanded down, and then we'll get another coat of that on there, make it look good. But it is getting there. Oh, I don't know if you noticed before, but we pulled the inner fender liner out. I'm actually going to come in here later, clean all this up, and Raptor line the wheel well in black. So it's nice and protected and clean, because I don't know if we can even run the inner fender and have enough clearance for the tire and wheel combo we're trying to stuff in here. So no inner fenders. Might take the ones out of the back too, not sure on that yet. We'll have to wait on that. But looking good. Progress, lots of progress. Got old parts laying around, and we got nice shiny new stuff. So, all right, that's probably it for me tonight. I got a couple hours of editing to do, and I will bring you guys back tomorrow. Right, Moose? Right? Tell them. Tell everybody. Good boy. He said make sure you stick around. It's gonna be the next day for me, but it'll be 2 seconds for you. Well, everybody, we have run out of time. because this video is already 30 minutes long and I haven't got to assembling anything because I painted, and I know I'm going to tear the rear apart and we're going to paint that too. So you'll have to stick around and wait for next week's video. Maybe I'll post it sooner, who knows. But I appreciate every single one of you. Do me a favor, subscribe if you haven't already, share with your friends. Let's try to grow this channel. We're getting close, guys. We're getting close to actually being recognized by the algorithm. So HAVOC's coming a long way. We've got 4 videos planned for HAVOC already. We got enough parts to do the build series almost, except for installing the motor, which is going to be a grand finale type thing. We're going to button up the suspension next week, have that all in, and then start working on probably the stereo system. We will have more on Karma also. We're going to be getting that painted, getting the cab painted, getting the floor Raptor lined, and getting it thrown back on the chassis so that we can bring it finally, I know I've said it a bunch of times, to the cage fabricator so he can start working on that. It's not his fault, it's my fault. I've got too many projects going on. I haven't been able to get it ready for him. But pile of parts came off, shiny paint has gone on, new parts waiting to get installed. I'm going to keep working. You guys enjoy your day. I appreciate every single one of you. Remember, nothing stays stock. I'm out.